From terrifying grimoires full of mystical spells to books overflowing with demonic power, here are 10 magic books that promise powers. The Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage. The Book of Abramelin the Mage was written in the 15th century. It is one of the most popular mystical grimoires of kabbalistic knowledge ever produced. The fellow who wrote it was named Abraham von Worms, and he was a Jewish traveler who supposedly encountered an eccentric magician named Abramelin during a trip to Egypt. The writings inside the Book of Abramelin the Mage talk about the passing of Abraham's knowledge to his son Lamech, and talks about how he came by such mystical knowledge in the first place. The story of Abraham's life is pretty complicated. The book says that he studied under a rabbi named Moses, then did some extensive traveling, and eventually ended up in Egypt where he met Abramelin the Mage. The mage was Egyptian and lived in the desert outside a small town. The mage then taught Abraham all the magic knowledge he knew and gave him 2 manuscripts so that he could write his own book. While there's a lot going on in this book, way too much to talk about, the most elaborate ritual that promises to give you power is known as the Abramelin operation. This ritual is said to allow any skilled mage to gain the knowledge of his guardian angel. In the book, it discourages women from undertaking this ritual because of, in its own words, their curiosity and love of talk. However, the good news was that if you were a virgin female, it was okay to undertake the ritual. Obviously, it was the 15th century and things were a bit different. If you do manage to complete the 18-month ritual of prayer and purification, you will then be in touch with your holy guardian angel, and that angel will grant you a wealth of powers such as necromancy and divination. The Sworn Book of Honorius. The Sworn Book of Honorius is another ancient grimoire, this one coming to us from the medieval period. This book is supposedly filled with all kinds of ritual magic and is rumored to have been made by someone named Honorius of Thebes, an extremely mysterious figure who has never been positively identified. Inside the book, you'll find quite a bit of criticism against the Catholic Church, which the book claims has been corrupted by the devil, and that the Church's ultimate goal is to doom humanity by completely abolishing the practice of magic. Like most grimoires of the time, this book focuses on summoning angels and demons and other spirits, and if you manage to summon one of them, you will definitely be given a wealth of great abilities ranging from the power to cause floods to destroy an entire kingdom. One of the most malicious spells in this book is one that promises to cast a sickness under someone of your choosing. While it's unlikely any of these spells work, anyone with any success should definitely leave a comment. As a side note, if you wish to be a practitioner who uses this book, there are a few rules. First, if you cannot find a worthy magician to pass along your knowledge to, you must take the book to your grave. Also, this is a men's only club. The men who want to use this book are not allowed the company of women, so keep that in mind before performing one of these occult rituals. Are you interested in practicing magic and witchcraft? What is your experience with it? Let me know in the comments below, then be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos. The Greek Magical Papyri. The Greek magical papyri is extremely old. It comes from the 2nd century BC and is a list of spells, rituals, and divinations. Included within the list are detailed instructions for how to summon your own personal headless demon, how to burst open the doors to the underworld, and how to protect yourself in the case of an attack from a wild beast. And just like almost every other magical text, this one promises you a way to gain a supernatural slave, kinda like a genie from another world that will do your bidding. There is one exceptional ceremony which will allow you to ascend the 7 higher planes of existence so that you can communicate with the ancient deity known as Mithras. This is not actually one book, but a series of ancient archives that have been collected through the years. Each papyrus in the series was written between 100 BC and 400 BC, with most of them appearing through the 1700s and 1800s through underground antique sales. They have survived inside various European collections and can even be found at the British Museum or at the Louvre in Paris. In any case, the magical texts are believed to have been written by members of the Egyptian priesthood during the last decline of the Egyptian temple infrastructure, back when Egypt was tied tightly to Greece. One of the most important texts inside the Greek magical papyri is known as the Mithras liturgy. It was first translated in 1903 and is based on the complex invocation of Helios Mithras, the god who will offer the revelation of immortality. Lesser Key of Solomon. The Lesser Key of Solomon is an anonymous grimoire from the 17th century but was published in English in 1904 by Aleister Crowley, who you might remember as being kind of a crazy person. Crowley tried to start his own religion. He participated in some of the most profane acts a person can, and it's even believed that he committed murder. It's hard to take anything this psycho wrote seriously, but this is definitely a magic book that promises power. The modern version contains all of Crowley's original comments, and there are descriptions and directions for the invocation of approximately 72 demons and spirits from the original texts. Crowley was hell-bent on figuring out how to interpret ancient magic to literally bring demons to life. He participated in his own outlandish rituals and had a small cult of followers. Surprisingly, you can actually purchase this book at Barnes & Noble's online website. On their site, they describe this book as a magic grimoire with portions that can be traced back to the 16th and 17th century with a lot of inspiration from ancient occult researchers. There are several modern editions of this grimoire, but the original source material contained 5 different books. Crowley's version is only an interpretation of the first book, Ars Goetia. The Black Pullet. The Black Pullet is a little different. Instead of coming from ancient Greece or ancient Egypt, this book dates back to France in the early 18th century. The book focuses on the study of magical talismans, which are believed to be special objects engraved with words of power that can protect and strengthen the person who wears them. To this day, it's believed that the Black Pullet was written by an unnamed officer in the army of Napoleon, who supposedly received the contents of the book from a mysterious mage while the army was stationed in Egypt. Inside this book, you will find detailed instructions for how to construct magical talismans from bronze, silk, and ink. There are also invocations inside the book, which one of the more interesting being a spell that is supposedly able to summon a jinn, which is basically a genie made of smoke and fire who can perform magic at your command. But if you have a little bit more evil in you, the book also shows how to make a talisman for yourself that will force men to tell you their secrets, that will let you see behind closed doors, and that will automatically destroy any person who might be plotting against you. Sounds pretty handy. The Satanic Bible. It's a little funny that the Satanic Bible is such a new book. It was written only 50 years ago by Anton Zander LaVey from the United States. Anton was an author and musician, and through his writing, he managed to create his own religion that still exists today. It should be no surprise that over the last 50 years, the Satanic Bible has drawn a whole lot of criticism. Most people think that anyone who reads the book is a lunatic Satanist who performs violent rituals and tries to summon demons. And while a lot of Satanists dispute the claim, saying that the Church of Satan is all about promoting atheism and libertarian ideas about being free to indulge and being happy with yourself, there is no denying the actual contents of the Satanic Bible. In an in-depth report from The Independent, they describe some of the main rules of Satanism. One of the rules says, if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat him cruelly and without mercy, while other rules say things like not to harm children, not to kill animals unless you need them for food, and not to bother anyone when walking in open territory. However, this same rule says that if someone bothers you in open territory and does not stop, you are free to destroy them. Inside the Satanic Bible is the Book of Belial, which is a list of rituals and magic, mostly stolen from other work, such as Crowley's Magic Elementary Theory. Many of the rituals promise to improve health, intelligence, and to go so far as destroy another person. The Glgerbach. The Glgerbach is an Icelandic grimoire from the 16th century that contains a collection of 47 spells collected by a variety of magicians. The spells inside the book rely heavily on staves, which were extremely popular in Icelandic magic at that time. Staves are basically runes. They come equipped with magical properties and can give the wearer special powers. Some staves written about in this book promise to help you attract the favor of powerful men, to inspire fear in your enemies, and to even put people to sleep. Runes are probably the most misunderstood form of magic in the world, as they are heavily displayed in any Vikings program on TV and a lot in video games. And of course, this book is full of special spells that can remedy all kinds of afflictions, such as tiredness, headaches, insomnia, and difficulty with childbirth. One of the most hilarious spells is number 46, which is known as the Flatulence Rune. This stave will strike your enemy with horrendously bad gas. They'll get gas so bad that the gas will never stop. But this is nothing compared to spell 27, which when drawn on someone's food will make them incredibly sick. And if you want to prevent unwanted visitors from coming to your house, there are also special staves and runes for that. It's like a spell cookbook. The False Hierarchy of Demons, Pseudomonarchia Daemonum. The Pseudomonarchia Daemonum is better known as the False Hierarchy of Demons, and it's probably the most extensive catalog of demons ever created. It was created by a famous demonologist named Johann Weyer in the 16th century. It's believed that Johann was inspired by the German occultist Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. Inside this book you will find a detailed list of all 69 noble demons. They're all reported to be prominent members of Hell's monarchy. It details the specialties of each demon, how exactly to conjure them, and what you can get out of the deal. It's basically the Wikipedia of demons. One of the main differences with this book is that its author was a devout Christian. He actually warned people about trying to conjure demons from hell with extreme caution. Some details are omitted from the rituals in this book to try and stop people from recklessly summoning demons. Some of the demons discussed in the book include Shax, who was fond of stealing horses and robbing people's eyesight and hearing. Then there is Elegos, who was able to see the future of wars and also the fates of the soldiers. The Thevoynich Manuscript. The Thevoynich Manuscript is one of the most mysterious books ever found. Its origins are absolutely baffling. The book was first discovered in 1912, but it was originally written in the 15th century. This book is full of handwriting in a language that not a single person has ever been able to decode or understand. Then there are the dozens and dozens of illustrations with strange pictures of what appear to be alien plants, bizarre objects, symbols of the zodiac, and even naked people. It's absolutely boggled people for over a century, with many claiming that the book holds secret cosmic powers that, if decoded, could change the world. However, a history researcher named Nicholas Gibbs claims to have cracked the code. He made the claim in 2017 after discovering that the book is probably a guide to women's health and nothing more. He also claims that the writings were probably plagiarized from other such writings of the 15th century. Nicholas was commissioned by a certain television network to analyze the manuscript back in 2014. Because of his extensive familiarity with Latin and ancient medieval texts, he actually managed to figure out what was going on in the pages, and so his claim is that the book is nothing more than a plagiarized script for how women can take care of their bodies using medicinal herbs and plants. The reason the book is full of zodiac symbols is because people back then believed certain cures worked better under certain astrological signs. Could this be the truth of the Thevoynich Manuscript, or is this guy just a lunatic? Pikatrix. Our final magical grimoire is Pikatrix, and it dates back to the 11th century. This is probably the biggest book on the list. It was originally written in Arabic and has 400 pages dedicated to astrological magic and astrological theory. There are spells and incantations designed to channel the energies of the planets and the stars to grant the wielder ultimate power and enlightenment. However, this book is more like a disgusting cookbook. It's full of recipes that will probably ruin your day. The book is notorious for the foul ingredients that go into its magic recipes. Most of the concoctions are designed to give you an altered state of consciousness and even an experience kinda like modern drugs. Most of the ingredients include blood, brain matter, opium, psychoactive plants, hashish, and bodily excretions. For example, if you want to have power over the dead, you need blood, spit, earwax, tears, urine, and more disturbing substances. Oh yes, and you need to drink it. Would you be willing to try this recipe to get some control over the dead? I sure wouldn't. Do you believe in any of these magical scripts? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you again soon for another fun video.